Now, the first thing you're going to say, I already know, is, Jaspreet, where in the world are you going to find a property for $200,000 that you can rent out for $2,100 a month? Well, if you're living in Miami, if you're living in California, if you're living in New York, yeah, it's not going to be possible. But there are many states and many cities around the country where you can find these types of deals. And by the way, you can find these types of deals all day and night long. So you find a property for $200,000 that you're now going to rent out for $2,100 a month. It's a nice property. This family is happy that they get to live in your property because you're giving them the value of a home. They pay you rent, and now you got to pay for the expenses. What are these expenses? Well, you got to pay property taxes. You got to pay for the property insurance. You got to pay for the maintenance, because when the toilet breaks, you got to pay for it now. Then you got to pay for the management, because I don't want you to be the one that's getting the phone calls when the toilet breaks. I don't want you to be the one that gets the calls when something's wrong with the plumbing. I want your property manager to deal with all the headache. I want you to be the investor and just make sure that you're getting paid. And then you got to pay for any vacancy costs as well, because sometimes these people are going to move out and they're going to find a different house to live in for themselves, and you're not going to be getting rent. And so you want to make sure you have the cash to cover that time as well. So now let's run through some numbers. $2,100 a month in rent times 12 months a year is $25,200 a year in gross income. Now you got to subtract your expenses. That's property taxes, insurance, maintenance, management fees, and your vacancy costs. So let's assume that that costs you around $11,000 a year to maintain this property. And I'm going to assume, for the purposes of this video, that you bought this property cash without a debt, because we're going to just keep this very simple for the purpose of this example. That means your profit at the end of the year, after paying for all of your expenses, is about $14,200 a year. But now let's do a little bit more math to see if this is actually a good investment or a bad investment for you.